about how do you identify it. These are the things that I want you to think about in intake. How do you identify if a lead's qualified or not? What are
Mm-hmm.
the issues that you consider? What are the questions, the qualifying questions that you ask? Do you have standard questions? Do you have call scripting? Do you have scripts for your intake people? Who ultimately makes the hire or no hire decision? And that's changed a lot ever since COVID. The hire no hire decision, a lot of law firm owners have put a lot of reliance on their intake people
To be the
to make that
arbiters.
decision as to whether this is a qualified case or not, and whether they should send out a DocuSign or not.
Interesting,
A
because
l-
I know some firms give either equity or monetary advantages and encouragements to their intake staff based on how many qualified leads they get in, right?
Mhm.
So there we go, where we go smoke and mirrors with numbers,
Right.
right? You're actively encouraging them to lie about the intake numbers.
Exactly what you should be encouraging your virtual assistants and intake staff to be doing
Mm-hmm.
is setting good appointments and rewarding them for appointments that you're setting that actually show up. That's the one thing that an intake rep has more control over than anything is, did I give great intake? Did I sell them on the firm? Did I offer them a unique competitive advantage?
Mm-hmm.
And mostly, primarily, did I offer them some empathy and try and build rapport? It's the number one factor in converting more leads, and that's what we talk about in my 8-week class, how to do that. Prime example, and this is a combo here. I'm giving away a lot. I have an empathy and a unique competitive advantage statement that I combine, that I teach. It's very easy. I'm really sorry to hear you're going through this, but I'm really glad you called today. Our law firm has helped 3,000 people just like you since we opened our doors in 2015. And when are you ready? When can you come in and meet with us so we can help you solve your problem?
See, I think that's super interesting. If we want to unpack that just a little bit,
Sure.
because I mean, you gave a lot of info right there in a single sentence.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of, especially when we're dealing with intake, they think it's this whole conversation. You just established confidence in the firm. You've been around for X amount of years.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you haven't been around for X amount of years, there's other ways you could do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other sentences you can use.
Right. Absolutely.
You establish empathy by saying, I'm sorry that you're going through this.
Yep.
Because you probably are. I mean, I can't imagine some of the stories they heard.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
they're
I
horrible.
spoke with a family law attorney the other day, and oh my gosh,
I've heard
I could
severed
never.
limb cases.
Oh my
I've heard
gosh.
severed limb
Or
cases.
talk about wrongful death.
I've heard death cases,
Horrible.
motorcyclists killed.
So authenticity when you're saying that, right?
100%.
That empathy. And then you touched on the I'm glad you called us.
Mm-hmm.
Not I'm glad you called a law firm. I'm glad you're getting a lawyer.
Right.
Us. You specifically.
It's an assumptive close, right? Without doing anything.
Absolutely.
And why else is it great? People are calling you on their worst day, not their best.
Mm-hmm.
Here's hoping that none of us ever have to call a lawyer for any reason. But thank goodness they're out there, right? I'm married to a lawyer.
No,
her
absolutely.
job, her career, her life is solving people's problems. That's what lawyers do. That's why it's a great industry.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget that sometimes.
Right.
People are calling you on their worst day, not their best. And they want to talk to someone and they want to come out of that call thinking, I called the right place.
Yeah.
They're going to help me solve my problem. I can't see my kids. My spouse took the kids and ran to Indiana, right? My son was murdered. I was involved in an automobile accident and I have a broken fibula. Right?
With no insurance.
I have no will or estate plan. I
Right.
just won the lotto and I don't have a plan. Whatever it is, they got a problem. And a lotto is a good problem. But the point is that they need to feel confident that they called the right place. And that's what this whole 8-week class is about.
Right. Confident that you can solve it.
Exactly.
Right. Which 9 times out of 10 you can. They wouldn't be calling you if you couldn't.
That's right. There's something in your messaging that got them to pick up the phone